Sure.
like sort of speed up, but not a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for being 3 minutes late. I'm not a morning person. Full disclosure. Okay. So I'll share my screen. Let me present the. All right. Nice surprise. You know what? Let's do it here only. So, hello everyone. I'm Mohit, and I have Ashish here with me, and we are here to like show what we are doing at Instabase, how we are adding value to the world, and I hope you guys are not too sleep deprived and you have had enough coffee. So, but still, we'll try to keep it as short and as to the point as possible. First of all, why are we here? So your awesome HackTX organizer Ansh interned at Instabase this summer, and he had an instrumental role, and that's why we're here. And by the way, this feel free to stop anytime and ask any questions. Okay, and who are we? So Ashish, do you wanna go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ashish, and I run one of the engineering teams at Instabase. And I think that probably would be my only contribution to this presentation. This is all Mohit's show, so I'm just cheerleading from the sidelines.
And I'm Mohit, and I work on the same team, that is Team Operating Systems. So, first of all, what is Instabase? So, Instabase was founded in like 2015 with the goal to provide the building blocks to solve complex data problems. And when I use the phrase building blocks, what I refer to as something like an extraction program or something as simple as like a classifier to classify the documents, or can be uh, address extractor where you want to extract something out of some address out of a document, or it can be even a custom Python program that you can write in Instabase. So a smallest building block is like to perform a function on document or some input. Now, what does Instabase do? There are two parts to it. The first one is OS. So let's say that let's when I said complex data pipelines, let's try to understand one of the examples. Let's say that you have some restaurant receipts lying in your Google Drive, and you want to extract information out of those receipts. And information can be like how much did I spend on a particular restaurant in the last month, on how much did I tip at that restaurant. So that this becomes a data problem because you have something in images and you want to extract like concrete information out of it, and like perform operations like sum and other like mathematical operations on that data. Now, how will you do that in Instabase? So you have documents lying somewhere. You'll mount that storage. Instabase allows you to mount the storage. So you'll mount your Google Drive, and in Instabase we have an app called Flow that allows you to connect those building blocks together. Which in this receipt use case would be um OCR block, like to perform first like convert the image space receipts in image space to text space, and then create then an extractor building block, and then after that you can add even like a post flow building block, which will be like send the output to an API to Venmo, or Splitwise or something else. Now here, after that is done, we'll have an output, which can be like, yeah, the output of the problem statement. We discuss something like, yeah, this is the amount you spend in the last 1 month on sushi. Now the second part to Instabase is the marketplace. Now that you have a flow, you have created a flow in the previous step in the operating system, which can be like restaurant receipt analyzer flow. How do you share it with the world so that other users can just like upload their receipts or mount their own Google Drives and use the work that you have created in form of an app? And for example, in marketplace, here we already have apps like passport where you can just upload your passport image and it extracts information out of your passport. And similarly, we have like other flows, like other apps called US driver's license, car title, and many more. And by the way, this is the area where Ansh worked on at Instabase. Now, what will we be doing in this workshop? So we'll create a flow together to extract information out of University of Texas ID card. In this case, Ansh's ID card. You can also upload your own ID card. And then we'll see marketplace, like how does marketplace looks like. And feel free to ask any questions, like can be like why, how to do this, or it can also be like how did you guys build this. Happy to answer any questions. So for the workshop, there is an option to follow along. So we have created this doc. Let me actually go to the doc. I'll paste the link to this document in the chat. So all the steps that I'll be doing are encapsulated in this doc. Feel free to follow along. And if anything doesn't make sense, don't hesitate to interrupt or ask questions. So let me figure out how to send this in the chat. So I just pasted the link to this document in the chat. Now I will actually go to instabase.com.
Could you just walk people through the doc before you jump to Instabase?
Sure. Okay, so let's go to the doc. So here, these are the exact steps that I'll be following in the workshop. So we'll first go and log in. We have created an account for this demo. Like a disclaimer, this account will be deactivated within a like few hours after the workshop hackathon. And so we'll be creating the workspace to organize the data, which in this case is in our experiments. And then we will create the flow. These are the steps to create the flow. We'll create extraction project, and then we'll see how we can like extract information in a very cool way out of Ansh's ID card. So feel free to like, if any of the step doesn't work for you or doesn't make sense, feel free to let me know. So I'll go back to the workshop here. So I'm on instabase.com/account/login. So I want to like, so let's log in using the account that we created for this workshop. Password is HackTX. So bam, I'm signed in. So this is what an Instabase homepage looks like. So on the sidebar here is the launcher, which allows you to do.
I think one thing we can do is just take a quick check-in here to see if anybody's actually following us. Because if anybody's following us, I think the model of operation can be slightly different, where we'll make sure that you're going with us through all the instructions.
That's a good point. Yeah, if anybody is following, can they like raise hand or something instead, or you can just speak like, "Hey, I'm following."
Yeah, you can also just post it in chat. Okay, we have looks like 2, 3 people, 4.
Wait, how did you know? There's nothing in the chat.
Yeah, I can see people raising their hands.
Oh,
Okay.
Ansh, maybe you could make them co-host so they can see.
Yes, I'm not sure if they can see that as co-host, but
Okay.
give it a shot.
That's awesome. If
Right, 4
people are
participants.
falling together, then that's awesome. We can just keep on going forward step by step.
So yeah, so we know that a few of the folks are following. So I'll just keep that in mind and go with that assumption. So after logging in here, so we have the launcher on the side bar here, and then I go to workspaces. Workspace is basically an area to organize your experiments or a project. So we have created a workspace for HackTX. So I'll click on that workspace, and this is we are landed to a file browser sort of UI. So what let's look at here. So this is an Instabase drive. So with every workspace, Instabase provides a default like small drive to organize your like start your experimentation. You can also mount your own drives and storage like Google Drive or something. So let's so since we'll be creating an extraction project,
Let's
So
take a moment again and just see if the people who are following us have they reached this point.
Yep.
Yes, you can also raise your hand again to indicate that you were there, or say no to indicate that you were not there.
Yeah. This.
I'm also following along. I'm just catching up right now.
Okay. We'll wait.
Yeah,
I
this
should
will
do
give
this too.
everybody, people who are following and not following, to just get some taste of Instabase as well, because this will allow us to move at a slower cadence. And if anybody has question along the way, feel free to ask, because Mohit is covering a lot of ground, and you may not have a lot of the context as well.
Yep.
I feel like I should follow along. I forgot how to use Instabase.
We are not surprised, Ansh. Okay. Is there any confirmation from anyone who's
Yeah. It looks like most people have caught up.
Okay, awesome. Let's go
Yeah,
forward.
Ansh, can you keep an eye on the raising hand? It's very hard to move it slowly.
No, I got it. How about this? If you are ever falling behind, please hit the little no button under the participants menu, and I will make sure to stop you hit.
Yeah, then
So-
Ansh, you can
Yeah.
interrupt me and be like, yeah, can
Yep.
we wait? Okay, perfect. So Ansh is responsible to ensure that you guys are caught up. If you're not, you know who to blame.
Yeah.
Bingo. Okay, so we are in Instabase Drive here. So I have a folder here called input. So this is a step, this is an optional step. So let's look at in the input directory. I just command clicked on the, I just open this image, and this is what our input looks like. This is an optional step, but I would still recommend this. If you have an ID, image of your UTexas ID handy, upload the image, create a new folder as using the new folder here,
Could you
as
walk?
shown in the document, and
Could
upload
you
your.
walk them through the steps?
Okay, sure. So let's say that you're creating a new folder. So I'll go to this new button in the top nav bar. Then I'll click new folder. Then I want to create a new input directory. So let's say that my name is HackTX. So you can use your name here, and then you click create folder. So I just created a new folder here, HackTX, which in your case will be your name. And then I have the image input here handy. Let's say that let's actually upload this input. So I am uploading this input to this folder here. Okay, no, sorry, I uploaded here.
You can
So
open folder too.
Yeah. So I navigate to this folder, HackTX, and then I'll upload an image, which is one of my favorite images in this presentation. And just to ensure that I uploaded it correctly. Oh yeah, it's uploaded correctly.
I hate you so much.
Okay, so I'll take a minute in case anyone is uploading. I hope someone has their ID card handy. Otherwise, you can always use this input folder that we'll be using in this presentation. Is anyone uploading just in case, because it might take a lot of time.
I haven't seen any no's in the participants thing, so it looks like we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. So now we'll be creating an extraction project. So I'll go to this new button on the top bar, and then I'll select new project. Then I'll go to Refiner 5 general extraction project. We have different kinds of projects. So this is the kind that is more relevant to this demo. So I'll click on this. The moment I click on this, I can name the project. So for me, I'll name the project as HackTX demo, and then I'll put a name, which is like Mohit2. You can put your name here. And once you do that, we can click create project. So it's creating the project. Behind the scenes, it's basically like creating different directories and fetching different programs. Now it's asking me where is your input? So let's tell this, I'll click the select folder button to point it to the correct input directory. So let's not use the hack TX input because in Ansh's photograph will have no um, data. So I'll select the correct input directory, which is like Instabase drive files input. This is the directory. I'll click select here and then I'll click upload. So this is basically copying the input. One of the questions that somebody might have here is why would I upload my Google Drive input to the Instabase? You can actually not share the data and like skip the upload and still like run the flow on the data that is in your Google Drive. So you don't have to copy everything to Instabase. Like,
Oh, I think what you're really saying, Mohit, here is that Instabase provides an ability to be able to mount your external storage.
yep, yep,
So you don't actually have to copy data to Instabase Drive. You can actually use that external storage if you
yep,
happen to have data on that external storage.
yep.
Is everyone with us here on this screen, or are people, behind and they need some time to catch up?
Yeah, can we get explicit confirmation? If you are caught up, please say yes in the participant screen. And if you are falling behind, please say no. We've got at least one person with yes. Oh, we've got 4 people with yes. Okay, looks like most people
All
are caught up then.
right.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So now I'll click the view project button. So to view the project, of course. So we just created a, let's understand the screen. So because there are a lot of terms here. So this is like the home screen of a project. So first, we have a view OCR results button that allows us to see the results in the end. And we have a Refiner 5 program. What is Refiner 5? Refiner 5 is an app where you can write your extraction logic. So for our workshop, we'll be editing this. And this is the flow that like we talked about. Let's actually look at how the flow looks like. So I just click the edit button here and it created a new window. It opened a new window. So this is what these are the building blocks like process file does OCRs, then map records like maps, different records like you have different receipt images, how you will map them. Each of these building blocks have a bunch of options. When I click on them, I can see these options. And these options allow us to configure this particular building block. And in this editor, like the flow editor screen that we're seeing, we can like add new steps, compile the overall flow and have a binary and share binary with other Instabase users, run the flow, encrypt the flow, and do a bunch of other things as well. So this is how the flow looks like. In the end, we'll run this flow and see the output. Now going back to the previous screen, which is the project screen, let's edit the refiner program. Let's write the extraction logic. So I'll click the edit button in here under the refiner program, and this will open the Refiner 5 app, which was, if you remember, was a building block, one of the steps in the flow. So here we have, let's understand the screen. We have like a input record here, which is Ansh's ID. And if I click this A button here on top of the image, this is how the OCR looks like of this image. For those who are not familiar with OCR, OCR stands for optical character recognition, basically converting an image to text. So this is how the OCR sees this image, just for our understanding. Now let's say that we want to extract student. This is a role here. Like this can be student, professor, or this. It has other value. Let's say we want to extract this. How will we do that? So Instabase in Refiner app, Instabase provides these primitives in terms of functions like computer science functions to that sort of matches your perception. For example, as a human, I see that student is right to this string called Texas. So I can actually use that. Instabase provides a building block for that. Similarly, if I want to extract name, I know that name is below the University of Texas at Austin. So let's actually go ahead and extract the student this string, which so I'll go in the rightmost panel. We can add a new field. So I'll click new field. This creates a field for me. So in the bottom left panel, I can write all the code here, like and in the bottom right panel, I can see the output of each of the function that I write. So let's write a quick.
Can we do a check-in if people are here with us?
Yeah.
They followed
Yep.
us already
Same
here.
thing as before. Please hit yes if you're with us and no if you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got 3 yeses. Looking like most people are with us. And one in the chat too. So yeah, looks like we're good.
Alrighty. So let's actually name this field to be role, which can be student or other, which can has other values as well. And let's write a function called scan underscore write. Now we'll, this is an Instabase terminology, but it's like scan write of the input column. In the input column represents this overall string of OCR, like this whole thing. So why we have this? So that you can each actually also use like different fields in this function. Now scan right of input column, and in this input column, which represents, which is the overall text, look for like Texas in all caps. You can, it also like as you can see in the documentation, it has a bunch of other features as well, like ignore the case and other stuff. Now I'll click in the bottom right panel, I'll click run field. So let's click run field. It's running my program that I just wrote. And here you can see that it extracted the role student. So when I click on this here, like the column here for role, you can see that the Ansh's ID card is highlighted by 2 blocks. One is red and one is blue. So red is the value that we extracted, and blue is the anchor that we use to extract the value. For example, my anchor, my eyes are set on Texas, and to the right of that, we extracted, we found the role. So this is called provenance tracking. And this is very useful in understanding the relationship. Like if you extracted some information out of an image, how did you even reach that? This provides a lot of explainability in the extraction. So let's go ahead and extract Ansh's name as well. So I'll create a new field, same stuff again. I'll create a new field. Now here I'll name the field as name. And I know that the field is below. So I'll use scan underscore below here. And I'll scan, I'll perform this function in the input column. And I am scanning below this University of Texas at Austin. So rather than typing, I'm using a pro hack here. I'll just click on the OCR, this A button here. I'll copy the University of Texas at Austin, go back to the image. And there are a bunch of, like, as you can see in the documents, I'll be using a few other fields as well. I know that this is just the line below the University of Texas at Austin line. So I'll put num lines equals to 1. I know I want to extract the whole line. So I'll just put left pad equals 100, right pad equals 100. So I'm just setting the boundaries to be so large because I want to extract the overall line. And then I'll run this field. And bam, we just extracted the Ansh's name. Now these are like the some of the first of all ensuring that people have caught up. Let's take a brief pause here because there was a bit of a typing.
Please hit yes if you're caught up and no if you are not.
Ansh knows his role perfectly.
Yep. Just like I did as an intern. Am I right? Up top.
I'll be showing off your work in the end as well. Just
oh, would you? Okay, cool. That's neat. Okay, looks like most people are with us.
Awesome. So now let's, so these are some of the primitives we use, like scan below, scan above, like scan left, scan right. So what if there is like a complex field? So Instabase also allows you to leverage the power of regular expressions. For those who are not familiar with regular expression in computer science, they are like sequence of characters that allow you to like specify search patterns. For example, let's say that I want to extract this number here, which is the ID card number or some number. And there are a bunch of ways to do that. I can actually scan below the name that I just extracted. So this is where the input column comes into picture. So I can scan below the name column. I can also like use regex to directly jump there. So let's actually try to extract this. So id underscore regex. So let's say that we want to extract this using regex. So I'll use a match function, which allows you to like enter regex. Now there are a bunch of regexes we can write. So let's write the easiest one here. So I know that, so I'll first write the regex here. So this is a regular expression, in short regex. So this regex says that, okay, this is the boundaries are digits and I want at least one of the digit, like it should have at least one of the digit. So let's try to run this. And bam, we got it. We just got a list, but it, because there was a space in between, it extracted it as two of the numbers, like two different sections. Sorry.
I think he was accidentally unmuted.
Okay, cool. So now here, but what if one of the questions that might be going in the mind is like, and is important is, what if I make some mistake? Like, let's say I forget this, like, let's say I do some random regex or something, like I forget a parenthesis, what will happen? So there should be an error, and this what will happen in production. So Instabase also provides you like primitives to like wrap everything that you're doing in error, just like in programming. Like I can be like, if there's an error, do something here. In here, I am just like, I'll be just like printing out there is an error. But there you can do a lot of stuff. Like you can have a default script. You can do a lot of like. So we still got this, but we have a list. What if we want to extract the whole thing? So there is like another regex we can write, which can be like id underscore regex underscore exact for an exact match. And this can be match. Now I'm matching the input underscore column. This is a bit tricky, regex. Not a lot, though. Star. And then I know that this is a 16 digit. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying that, hey, get me an exact 16 digit match, which can also have like an empty string and empty space in between. And let's try to run this. And we have a lot of like empty strings here because of that. Question mark is 2/b star 16. This should have worked. Just to place it.
That's okay. It's just a regular expression. That's not the main point. I mean,
yeah.
at the end of
So
the day,
it,
you get the
it will
regular
basically
expression,
like,
right, will be able to extract it.
yeah. The error here is it's basically extracting a lot of single length string as well. So like yeah, this is, I made a mistake here in checking the regex. So basically we can write an exact match regex here as well. And you can like use a bunch of primitives, like if error, or for example in here in the previous id, what if we wanted to just get the first part? So you can use something like list underscore get and get the 0th element of the list as well, like the first element. And bam, you just got the first part of that. So clearly Instabase provides a bunch of primitives here. So let's do one thing. Let's save our extraction program and let's use this as a checkpoint. How many, Ansh?
Yeah, everyone please hit yes if you're following along, and no if you're not. Cool, we've got all yeses.
Alrighty, so let's click the save button on the top right. This should save the program. Now let's go back to the project home. Let's click the edit run flow, the edit button. So we'll go back to the flow editor screen. Now
Yeah,
from this
just take
screen,
everyone with you. Yeah. Just go slow here because you're flipping through various pages and tabs now.
okay. So we were in the refiner program. I went back to the project home project, like home screen. Here I click the edit button under the run flow. Just a quick reminder, flow was a collection of this building blocks. So I was directed to this flow editor program. So these are the building blocks we have here. And we just edited the third building block, which was the refiner program. So here, I'll go to the tools but menu on the top right, and I'll click the run button. Now here I have to select the correct input directory. So I'll select the input and I'll click open, and then I'll click output as run ID just so that you have a unique run. Um, Now I'll click run.
And we can do it again. This
Yeah,
can be run over and over again, so
yeah,
we can run
this
it
can be
again.
run. Yeah, thank you,
Just in
Ashish,
case
for
if
that.
you were not following, we can try. We can do it again.
So it's running the flow. So it's going through all those building blocks and using our extraction program, and then um, performing the final steps like consolidating the output. I did not test it in this first. Oh, nice, it ran. So I have a success notification here which says view output here. So I'll click the view output here button, and then it will open a directory for me. So this directory, let's understand this directory. It compiled a flow in the first folder is bin. It basically compiled the flow into a binary, and I can just share this binary with anyone who has Instabase, and they can just run the flow if I don't want to publish this to marketplace. And then we have the output of each of the steps of the build, like each of the building blocks in S1, S2, S3, S4, basically step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And finally we have this batch.ib flow results, which I'm going to be opening. So I'll click this batch.ib flow results, which has the consolidated input output. So imagine you have thousands of these ID cards. How do you like clearly and concisely view the output of this? So this is the flow review app, which allows you to review the output of a flow. So here there are a bunch of tabs, overview, record, and results. So I'll go to the results tab, and I can like see the output of this output of one of the record, which was the which was our only record in this case. But a good thing to understand here is like this is a review step. So what if like one of the extracting step was using a machine learning model, and what if that model is not working? So in this reviews, this is where important stuff like human in the loop comes into picture. Like how do you bring humans into the loop to like review the output of this refiner program or a machine learning model which was applied as a building block in this flow? So this is an important part of running an extraction program in production. In case something goes wrong, how do you like detect that issue and resolve that issue? So this was the overall output of the flow. So Ansh, can you do a check-in?
Yeah, we can go from on the flow part again if
Yeah,
people are not with us.
yeah,
Yep.
I can go over that again.
Yes. Everyone hit yes if you're following. No if you're not. Okay, got some yeses in chat. Kush has a yes in the participants list. Looks like we are good. Yep.
Alrighty. So we just so let's do a quick recap what we just did. We created a general extraction project, and then we edited the refiner program. So also a quick note here. We had a deterministic functions here. You can also like put machine learning models to extract like addresses or like extract detect faces, and then here after that we reviewed the output. We ran the flow and we reviewed the output of that flow. Now we have created this flow, and what if you want to let's call this flow as University of Texas ID extractor. Now, what if you want to share your work, this flow with the world? Where do you publish it? So we have an app called Marketplace here. So in the sidebar launcher, uh, I'll go to apps, then I'll go to Marketplace, and this is where Ansh worked. And most of Ansh's work was in this area. So we have a bunch of apps here. So for this demo, we created an app called UTexas, and we plan to delete this after the demo. So let's say you can also search for this. So for example, I search for text, and then here I can see the app, and you can install the app. You can create, as a developer, you can create multiple versions of the app. For example, what if you find a better machine learning model or regex for the document or a receipt or anything that you're processing? And this is the exact feature, one of the features that Ansh worked on, which is try it. So without even installing this overall app, how you can just try it. So in case you want to see how the passport or driver's license app work, you can just upload the file and run it, and this runs everything in memory rather than going to the file system that we just saw. So going back, we have I'll clear the search again. So there are a bunch of apps here. You can install the app. Let's actually quickly see how the installation works. Let's say that I want to extract something out of my passport. So I'll click on the passport app. I'll click get, and bam, the app is installed. Then I can click the open, and since this passport app does not have a custom UI, it just has a flow associated with it. So you see this run flow view, and where you can just select input directory, which can be Instabase Drive, and again, as a recalling can be a Google Drive or a file server that you have mounted, and just click run, and bam, you're good to go. And you can even, like, as I mentioned, you can configure how the human review comes into the process. So this is an app there. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, just to provide more context here, we build the extractor, we build the test it with the flow for you, the ID cards. We publish the ID cards on Marketplace, and now Mohit is just describing more about the Marketplace and not so much so the UT Texas app. Or UT Austin app, and so yeah, just more general info on how Instabase actually adds value to the world. So that's what Mohit is talking about.
But so I had one more addition, which will be, I think, the final thing. So what if you wanted a custom UI associated with your app? How will you do that? So I'll just quickly go to an app called Visual Diff that we have, and I'll click get, and then I'll click open. So you can also, Instabase also allows you to attach a custom UI to your app. For, in this case, it's a like simpler UI, which allows you to, this app allows you to find difference into images on files, like as described by the name Visual Diff. But you can also attach like custom UIs with the app and still have like flows and extraction run behind the scenes. So that is Marketplace, and that concludes our presentation. Any questions?
Wow, you're giving people a back 17 minutes.
Thank you for not trying my feature live on air. Would have been very sad if it broke.
No, actually it works. I fixed all the bugs that you are.
Oh, okay. All right. Appreciate that. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to type them in chat or just unmute yourself and say it out loud. And if your question is, am I getting a t-shirt? The answer is yes, and I will take care of that.
Hey, will we also be getting a t-shirt as the presenters?
Probably not. I'm kidding. Of course I'll get you guys shirts.
Oh, one quick thing before we leave. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me or Ashish actually.
No, just Mohit is, oh yeah, you can reach out to me too, but I think Mohit would be, you want to put my address, that's totally fine. You can just say Ashish at Instabase.
Yeah, Ashish at Instabase, but yeah, you can feel free to reach out, any questions, concerns, anything like that. Feel free to reach out.
Right here, I'll just add my address.
Yeah, I'll actually put my email in the chat as well.
Yes, I have also posted the beginner form link in the chat. So if this is your other event, then please go ahead and fill that out. There is no secret code, so you're good to go there.
Yeah, you'll probably get faster responses from Mohit than me. Just FYI.
That I can vouch for.
All right. It looks like we are good. Everybody, thank you so much for coming. Remember, the next workshop, we have pitching workshop going on right now and submission office hours starting in 15 minutes. Make sure to get your projects in before 11 a.m. Central Time today. This is Instabase event 2. Although you can mark either. So
Awesome.
Yay,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
guys.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for coming. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Oh, really cool. I enjoyed that.
And
Right.
we promise we'll be nicer to you from here on.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I'm not promising anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I was hyping up Instabase all summer, so I imagine Kush was very happy to see what I was talking about.
Yeah, it was fun actually seeing what Ansh did. I thought he just, wasted his summer.
Did nothing as usual.
For
Yeah,
retail
what else
meetings.
was new? Good move. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the meeting, y'all. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
coming and
Thank
presenting.
you.
Really appreciate it.